qualities they value in their staff. A qualification that costs you nothing matters more to chief executives than a credential that costs thousands of dollars and years of hard work. The bullets above are in different styles and overlap a bit in content, so I would never combine them as in that list, but still they illustrate how to choose facts from a text that can easily be made to sound totally fascinating. Now, let's do the same with a couple of paragraphs on a very different topic in a more literary style. This passage comes from a 1977 article called Blessings in Exile by travel writer Pico Iyer in the magazine Civilization. Dharamsala, therefore, is Tibet's one great hope to maintain and disseminate a meaningful cultural, religious, and quietly political identity, and 8,000 Tibetans have gathered there around the man they think of as a god. Some are relatives and monastic associates who left with him 38 years ago, while others are newcomers who have fled across the Himalayas to be near him. And, as the Dalai Lama said to me the first time I met him here in 1974, and has repeated every time I've returned to see him, the trials of exile have brought some blessings. For him, his new home offers the chance to start afresh, free of all the stifling traditions and protocol that kept parts of Tibet in the Middle Ages, even as late as World War II. And for a variety of foreigners, hippies, religious scholars, and people just wanting to see or get sustenance from a famously accessible Buddhist teacher, Dharamsala represents the world's first chance to come in contact with a culture long imagined as a kind of mythic Shangri-La and visited before the Chinese takeover by fewer than 2,000 Westerners in all of its history. As a result, all kinds of travelers stream through Dharamsala these days, from Steven Seagal and Harrison Ford to Adam Yauch of the Beastie Boys and Philip Glass. And as the Tibetan cause grows better known, especially with the release of 2 Hollywood movies this fall, 7 Years in Tibet with Brad Pitt and Kundun, directed by Martin Scorsese, the stream threatens to become a flood. When I last bounced and jangled up the winding road that leads to the Central Tibetan Administration, I was surprised to see 3 new luxury hotels accommodating visitors in $20 a night comfort. Star TV had arrived in the mountain village, and signs at a central intersection advertised fast food. More terrible reminders of the world at large had also arrived. This past February, Dharamsala was the site of a grisly crime when 3 of the Dalai Lama's monks were found murdered in their beds, apparently killed by a rival Tibetan faction. Here now are bullets from that passage. Find out where the world's most prominent Buddhist master holds court amidst movie stars, fast food joints, and murderers. Why the Dalai Lama's 38-year exile from his homeland has its bright side for the spiritual leader. The one place on earth where a Shangri-La experience costs just $20 a night. Which movie stars and musical luminaries have made a pilgrimage to a small town in the foothills of the Himalayas, and why? And just to show that the process works with dry facts and figures, let's create bullet points from an Internal Revenue Service publication on how to audit bed and breakfast inns. Based on a 1988 national survey of innkeepers, bed and breakfasts with less than 4 guest rooms do not make money. With up to 7 rooms, an average profit would be about 8% annually. Inns with 21 rooms can have a 29% annual return. If there is an absentee owner, the profit will go down, and according to the survey, nothing less is workable than inns with more than 20 guest rooms. Tax treatment of inns will vary. IRC Section 280A will come into play more often when you have a few rooms being rented out in a personal residence, whereas with an inn of 20 rooms, it will not. IRC Section 162 will govern because these are more like a hotel and motel business. Frequently, IRC 183 will dominate because the taxpayer has not shown he is engaged in an activity for profit. One of the most common issues is personal use and/or expenses per IRC 262, especially with food, utilities, and auto expenses. The following are a first pass at creating bullets from the above.